Hey everyone, I'm Nick Hames. Today I'm hanging with my friends from Guitar Center, and we're checking out the Epiphone Coronet USA Collection guitar. I have a solo project called Hames, which is my last name. The guitarist, singer, multi-instrumentalist, producer. Grew up really listening to all the classic great guitar players, Jimmy Page, Peter Frampton, Jimi Hendrix. So I draw inspiration from those guys, as well as modern music now. I like to try to create a sound of my own using both influences from now and from back then, and sort of come up with a sound in the middle. When I was a little kid, I was probably 6 years old, I got my first toy guitar. A few years later, I told my parents I wanted a Les Paul. So they searched up the price and laughed at me, and then ended up getting me a Epiphone Les Paul. It was a Junior, Epiphone Les Paul Junior. It was black, it had a white pickup ring, and that guitar was everything to me. I was just a young kid listening to Jimmy Page, and I wanted to be just like him. What I love about the Coronet is that it takes elements from the classic Gibson Les Paul Jr. as well as the classic Gibson SG Jr., but it still has its own characteristics. It's just using those elements that make it its own. And the great thing about these Epiphone Coronets is that they are made in the USA. So I'm going to experiment a little bit with the volume knob and show you that running it even halfway can give you great tone and so much clarity. That tone was no effects, unadulterated sound, just straight into the amplifier, and you can tell it's just got that clarity. It has a lot of snap and punch to it, and that's the P-90 pickup by itself. Having a guitar with one pickup, I think, speaks a lot to you as a musician, as a guitar player, when you can take what you have and make the most of it. And this guitar allows you to have so many different sounds, even though it's only got one pickup, one volume, one tone knob. You can roll down that tone knob and get incredible tones, put it all the way up, and it's bright but not harsh. And then in the middle, you get that sweet middle ground, great balanced tonality. There's just something about when you have one pickup, all the pull in the electronics just going straight to that one pickup. It has no interference with any other pickups. It just sounds so bright. P-90s are just amazing pickups. Now, just to show you how much the volume knob affects the tone of a guitar, I'm going to play it now at full volume. And you get that perfect high end, that really crystal clarity, great low end. It's not too harsh as some P-90s or single coils can be. It's just perfectly balanced. So P-90s versus a humbucker versus a single coil, I like to think it's a happy medium right in the middle. It's not too bright, it's not dark, it's perfectly in the middle. So now that we've messed around with the volume knob, let's see what the tone knob can do. I'm going to turn the tone knob all the way down for this first example. So most guitars, when you even turn the tone knob down slightly, never mind all the way down like this just was, it really drowns out the sound. It makes it too muddy and just ruins the tone and the quality of the tone. But as you can tell, that's a very usable tone with this guitar, having the tone knob all the way down. It's a very snappy, punchy, almost fuzzy-like tones you can get out of it. It sounds best, in my opinion, when you really dig into the strings or you pluck them using finger picking. It's a very usable tone that I 100% would use in any live or recording setting. So the location of the volume and tone knob, I think, is very ergonomic. They're easy to reach, but you're not going to knock them out of the setting you choose while you're playing. I love that they're octagon-shaped knobs with the triangular point to show you where you are in the settings when you turn them all the way down. I think it's a great feature and I love these. So now, to show you the full power of this guitar and the single P-90, I'm going to crank the volume and tone knob all the way up, and you're going to get the full clean sound of the amp with no effects. Guitar straight into the amp. So as you can tell, the highs are perfect. It's so clear. The clarity of this one pickup is amazing. And when you turn the tone knob all the way up from being dialed back a little bit, it's not too bright. It doesn't pierce you. It's just exactly where it should be. So now we're going to have a little bit of fun. I'm going to show you the versatility of this guitar and the one pickup. I'm going to do like a 60s style classic blues tone. I'm going to kick on my Tone Tuga Delphine delay pedal for a little bit of slapback delay, and we're going to run a little bit of boost from the Brown amplification protein pedal. So as you can see, it's super punchy, super bright. It gives you everything you want in a bridge pickup, cuts right through the mix, and it takes pedals really, really well. All right, so now I'm going to give you sort of a 70s classic rock tone that we all know and love. It's going to be a little bit heavier this time with the gain. I'm going to turn on my Cornerstone Imperium drive pedal to help me out with this. So as you can tell, even with more gain, the pickup takes it really well. It gives you that 70s classic rock tone we all know and love. It does it very well, and that can only be replicated by an amazing pickup. So now I'm going to try to get that classic 80s solo tone. I'm going to use a Tone Tuga Aegis drive pedal going into an MXR carbon copy analog delay for a long trail delay, and then I'm going to use a Jackson Audio New Wave analog chorus pedal, and we're going to put more gain and try to get that classic 80s solo tone. So as you can tell, even with that much gain, we don't have any obnoxious buzzing. It sounds amazing with a chorus pedal, with a long trail delay, and we had a lot of gain going there. So this one pickup, again, there's just so much versatility just having one pickup. All the strings focus is going onto that one P-90, which just really pays off with the tone that you get. So now I'm going to get that sort of 90s, 2000s alternative tone. I'm going to use the Tone Tuga Aegis again, the gain more cranked. and I'm just going to chug some power chords. I tuned the low E string down to a drop D. So as you can tell by the end, lots of sustain, and it sounds so good when it's just chugging the lower strings, especially with that drop D. It gives you that Silverchair, Foo Fighters, Green Day kind of tone, 90s, early 2000s, and it sounds fantastic. The pedals sound great with this pickup and this guitar. Now that I took you through the different eras of music, different eras of rock and tone that this guitar can bring, I'm going to use a setting that I love. I'm going to use my Cornerstone Imperium overdrive pedal, and then I'm going to use the carbon copy delay for a little bit of delay. So yeah, that's just one of the best sounds you can get. It's not too heavy. It's a nice rock, crunch, distorted tone with a little bit of the delay to help with that. And the P-90 just shines no matter what's thrown its way. Yeah, compared to some of the guitars I have, and I have a lot of guitars, this guitar, the main thing that sticks out to me, two things. Number one, obviously the tone. It's just so clear. It's just so well wound, the pickup, so well balanced. And another thing is the weight. I mean, like I mentioned, just being able to jump around the stage, play long shows, travel with, having a really light guitar means everything. And the tone that comes out of this wood just sounds amazing. It's just so simplified, yet so sophisticated. When I play on stage, a big thing I take into consideration is the color, the shape of the guitar, as well as what I wear. So having a black guitar that's just the classy black look fits into, I usually wear a lot of all white outfits, and guitars like this, where it's a black finish, it's very slim, very great looking guitar. It shows really well off of the outfits I wear, and that's a big part of my performances and a lot of the visuals that go into my stuff. Having the double cutaway, especially on this lower horn, it gets me to be able to reach all the way up to that last fret with no problems. I just am able to sail up there real fast, and it's just helps so much with soloing up here, playing those really, when the frets start to crunch a little bit, it makes it really easy to just maneuver all the way up and down the neck. The slim neck feels perfect. It's just the perfect size, I think, for any hands. You know, I don't have the biggest hands, but this fits perfectly. I feel right at home with this neck. I do have separate guitars for my solo project Hames, which is more of an indie pop rock vibe, as opposed to my blues band that I play in. I usually have separate guitars because I just can't, they just don't seem to work well with both genres. However, when I've been playing this guitar for a little while, I could easily use this in both projects and have it be that middle ground one-all guitar. It does the blues thing really, really well. It gets great tones straight into the amp with low gains, and then when I plug in different effects, I was running 3 effects at one point, it really just gives that natural, amazing tone that I can get with any sort of genre of music. I don't see anything that this guitar can't do, and it's crazy because it only has one pickup, and yet it's so versatile. So all of you working for Guitar Center, you're not getting this guitar back. I absolutely love it. I can 100% see myself using this for the rest of my life. Shows, sessions, traveling with it. It seems like a great companion, and it's so easy to play. I love it. If you're interested in learning more about the Epiphone Coronet USA collection guitar, go to guitarcenter.com, call one of their expert gear advisors, or visit your local GC.